Now, in the next session, we will concentrate on best practice projects in developing countries. And to lead us through this panel, please welcome from R20 Austria, Mr. Walter Koren, your moderator.
We are now in panel 3, Best of Sustainable Projects. We will focus on best practice projects concerning affordable and sustainable energy solutions. We want to give insight into crucial issues on the one hand and success factors on the other hand for innovative partnerships. Please welcome with me the panelists. First of all, Her Royal Highness Princess Abze Jigma, founder and CEO of Abze Solar from Burkina Faso. She's so dynamic, so she comes again onto the stage. Please come. And then we have Morlaye Bangura, Commissioner for Energy of the Economic Commission of Western African States. Please, Mr. Bangura. And then we have Christoph Nuttall, the CEO of R20, Regions of Climate Actions. Everybody knows him. We have Kilian Kleinschmidt, Global Networking and Humanitarian Expertise. And we have Gunther Schall, Head of Private Sector and Development of the Austrian Development Agency. Please. And I'm sorry for Mr. Christian Stöbi, who could not make it in the last minute. He is the head of business development of Andritz Hydro, a real Austrian global player in hydropower generation. But we have another top company represented at this panel as an interventionist. Mrs. Barbara Chrysler of Philipp Lightning will come later on to the stage. So, let's start. Now let's turn to the first speaker, Her Royal Highness, Princess Abze Jigma. I will tell you, is Mossi Princess from Burkina Faso and a direct descendant of Princess Yenenga, the mother of the Mossi people and the famous warrior of centuries ago. Your Royal Highness, you're an initiator and leader of the Mamalight Initiative for Sustainable Energy, a worldwide program that provides access to affordable energy. And you're also the founder and CEO of Abze Solar. Your company provides high-quality solar lights to students, women, and children. You say lights can change lives. Can you explain the broad impact of your business in more detail? Maybe adding some of your secrets.
But the secret that I have in the genes, a warrior, so that is something that I can't help. So that we are all soldiers of changes. That is the good point. The secret is how light can change your life. And light has changed my life. That's why I'm here. Whatever, but unfortunately, I started with a polluting source of light. Light really, when you get born in the darkness, it's difficult. You don't have an equal change, like the other baby who got born with light. That already, the inequality has a starting point. How light can change your life, because when you bring just a simple example, the solar lantern that is part of my range of product, all of you here going to toilet in the evening, it's not a problem. But in the countryside, when I went back to my village, I saw one of my grandmothers sitting, and I said, what has happened to you? She was so active. I said, yeah, I wanted to go to toilet at night, and I felt and I broke my hip. Simple human need, but for us, it's dangerous. doing your homework nowadays shouldn't be killing you very slowly every day. That's why Maria was saying this morning, 4.5 million people are dying for indoor pollution. And that is the reality. My country has 33,000 people every year who's dying for indoor pollution. It's not a fairy tale, it's happening every day. When it comes to business, you cannot develop your business without reliable and affordable energy. But that's what I'm doing. And also, how do you grow your fruits and vegetables out of rainy season? Then I come up with a Marmalite Agri-Box to allow the ladies to make their fruits and vegetables out of rainy season, that they can grow their revenues. Those are simple things, but very key for us. That's what I was talking this morning at the plenary about greening up. Our people are green by nature. What we need to do is really to keep them green, don't pollute the arable land. And I'm happy to hear that the industry of batteries like Varta, just the previous panel who was caring about this, because at the end of the day, those batteries ending also into our agriculture fields. Whatever you do, you need always to think on how you recycle, what will be the impact on the long term. And that's what we are doing, we also have, because recycling also is creating jobs. But what we need to do, and that is a call from me, for you, the businesses in the room, the political leaders, to think on how we don't miss that train again of added value jobs, because if the recycling part, we have to export it again, it means that we didn't learn anything. Because recycling is a way also that I see for real technology transfer. Training of trainers, and your business will grow. And I think competition should not be part of the problem, part of the solution. I think that will be the key message here for me. We are not competing, we are partnering. And I think that from the local government, our political leader here, from ECOWAS, at the end of the day, we really need to integrate what the bottom of the pyramids are already doing. I heard just before, don't start from scratch, from the Vice Mayor of Vienna. Learn from the mistake of the others. And then you can make the next jump and also bring new technology and this path.
Your Royal Highness, your company is a real best practice. But how did you start? What were the crucial points at the beginning to start the company?
I got a call from here, but it was a painful one. When you go back, you had been sent when you're 12 years old, and a country that you just see white people, you don't understand. You say hello to everybody on the street, they look at you like that, and you ask, what did you do wrong? So my parents got the great idea to send me to school. I'm so very grateful to that. How did I start? When I came back and went to the village, and nothing, when I say nothing has changed, then first I got a shock. And I say, listen, you need to come back and make the difference. Don't wait for people to come and change your life. You have to do the things. Lead by example. Technology is there. Luckily, you have technical trainings, and then I got the chance to meet great people in my life. First of all, my husband, of course, the he for she we started long ago, and partners like Philips, that I'm very happy that she will make her intervention later on. I just explained, I say, I don't have the money, but I have the brand. Could you help me design something for my people, for people who's really in the remote areas? We're talking about not leaving no one behind. It's important to create devices that can help the people, which is sexy, which is cool, because it's not because we are poor that we have to, but we need to come up with the ugly stuff in our regions, and also an advanced technology. And Philips really put in place for me an enabling environment where I could really excel in my knowledge. And just why I'm saying that, why I'm naming them, I don't have shares in Philips at all, just to show that those kind of partnership is important. When the biggest, working with the nano ones, it's make a difference. But nowadays, I'm talking about quality. I started with quality, and quality is very important. A lot of stuff is coming in our region who don't respect any standards. If we want also to protect life, we need to come up with international standards that is really respected and respecting our environment, who fit with our climate. This is very important. Robust, and also work together, listen to the people and design the product that they need. That is the key. Listen to your client and you would deliver the product that they need.
Thank you very much, Your Royal Highness. You're a real green leader, if I may say so, a green warrior. Now let's turn to Dr. Morle Bangoura, Burkina Faso, home country of Her Royal Highness, but also Guinea, and among others, Nigeria, are some of the 15 member countries of the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS. The union was established in the year 1975 with the mission to promote economic integration across the West African major region. Dr. Morle Bangoura is the Commissioner for Energy at ECOWAS. He will actually talk in French, and Mr. Nuttall, next to him, will translate it to English. Mr. Bangoura, how does ECOWAS support the implementation of sustainable energy projects? Comment la CEDEAO prend-elle en charge la mise en œuvre de projets énergétiques durables?
C'est bon. Bonsoir tout le monde. J'aimerais, avant d'introduire mes questions et la réponse à mes questions, je voudrais vous transmettre la profonde gratitude de mon président de la Commission, Son Excellence Marcel Alain de Souza, au gouvernement de l'Autriche pour l'appui indéfectible qu'elle est en train de mener auprès de notre agence ECRE. On va en parler. Et merci d'avoir invité la CEDEAO pour qu'elle puisse partager avec vous comment la CEDEAO soutient la mise en œuvre, la mise en implémentation des projets d'énergie durable.
So before answering these precise questions, I would like to convey our very best thanks from our president of ECOWAS to the government of Austria for the support to ICREI, which is the regional agency for renewable energy and energy efficiency.
Je ne vais pas m'attarder sur la présentation de la commission de la CEDEAO, puisque le modérateur en a parlé. Elle a été créée le 28 mai 1975. Elle a une superficie de 5 millions de kilomètres carrés, 15 États membres. Le siège de la commission de la CEDEAO se trouve à Abuja. C'est le Bruxelles de la CEDEAO.
So ECOWAS headquarters is in Abuja, Nigeria. It is convening 15 countries, and I don't remember the exact figures of how wide is ECOWAS country altogether and its population, but it's huge.
Malgré cette superficie de 5 millions de kilomètres carrés, nous avons d'énormes potentialités énergétiques. 26 000 mégawatts d'hydro en potentiel. L'ensoleillement solaire, c'est de 5 à 6 mètres kilowatts par mètre carré et par jour. Et la vitesse du vent pour les centrales éoliennes, c'est 5 à 6 mètres par seconde. La biomasse recouvre les 70% de la surface de la CEDEAO.
So here again, you have a number of figures, but you have to understand that in summary, the potential of ECOWAS countries in terms of biomass, in terms of hydro, in terms of solar power is just enormous.
De l'autre côté de la balance, nous avons une précarité énergétique assez poussée. C'est 35% de taux d'accès à l'électricité. Ça veut dire que sur les 350 millions d'habitants de la CEDEAO, presque 180 millions n'ont pas accès à l'électricité. Parmi ces 180 millions d'habitants, vous avez 77% qui vivent en milieu rural, dont le taux d'accès est moins de 10%. La biomasse constitue la principale source énergétique de la CEDEAO, des États membres de la CEDEAO. Ça veut dire que nous brûlons beaucoup de bois pour pouvoir avoir de l'énergie.
So there is a lot of potentiality, but unfortunately, ECOWAS countries in general still have only 36% of access of energy for its population. 70% of the population of ECOWAS are within rural areas, and 90% of them doesn't have access to electricity. So this is a challenge that ECOWAS is facing and is hoping to tackle thanks to renewable energy.
Ce défi, les chefs d'État l'ont perçu très longtemps. 7 ans après la création de la CEDEAO, les chefs d'État ont adopté la première politique énergétique régionale. Ça veut dire quoi? Ça veut dire qu'ils ont décidé de mettre ensemble ces immenses potentialités énergétiques qui est inégalement repartie dans l'espace CEDEAO pour produire de l'électricité, pour que la population ait accès à une énergie durable, fiable et moins chère.
So the head of states of of ECOWAS has a visionary, I would say, plan some 20 years ago where they have decided that they would turn into renewable energy. And in spite of disparity of this renewable energy within those 18 countries, they have a common policy, a common implementation plan in order to materialize all the efforts to get access to these renewable energies.
Pour mettre en pratique cette politique, pour accompagner les États, la CEDEAO a adopté des instruments pour la mise en œuvre des projets énergétiques. Les chefs d'État ont adopté en 2003 le protocole de l'énergie. Ça veut dire quoi? Ce protocole de l'énergie définit les contours du commerce de l'énergie, les droits et les devoirs de chaque acteur dans le secteur de l'énergie. C'est comme la charte de l'énergie.
So, head of state, in addition to have a political willing, they have established a number of legal instruments, a number of programs in order that they can really go to the details of implementing this renewable energy action plan.
Et pour mettre en pratique cette politique énergétique, la CEDEAO, pour accompagner toujours les États, a créé des agences spécialisées de l'énergie. Le West African Power Pool, qui va s'occuper de l'implémentation du programme, du plan directeur de la CEDEAO 2012-2025, qui comprend il faut installer plus de 10 000 MW, 16 000 km de lignes et 3 000 MW d'énergie renouvelable, solaire et éolienne.
So in order to implement this policy, ECOWAS has developed a number of sustainable energy agencies with specific targets in terms of 10 gigawatts of renewable energy, but also the extension of the grid system in West Africa.
La deuxième agence qui a été mise en place, spécialisée de l'électricité, c'est l'Agence régionale de régulation du secteur de l'énergie. Puisque c'est un marché de plus de 350 millions d'habitants, il faut pouvoir régulariser, mettre les conditions d'exploitation du marché et d'échange d'énergie entre les États. Cette agence est basée à Accra.
So a second regional agency has been set up in Accra in order to have education, but specifically regulation between countries in order that they can exchange electricity between themselves.
Puisque nous avons les tiers du gaz, des ressources naturelles en gaz de l'Afrique, nous avons mis en service un gazoduc qui va du Nigeria jusqu'au Ghana en passant par le Bénin et le Togo. Au niveau de ce gazoduc, nous avons mis en place des institutions qui gèrent le commerce du gaz, c'est-à-dire l'AGAO, l'autorité du gazoduc de l'Ouest africain.
So within ECOWAS, you have, of course, Nigeria, which is an oil and gas producer. So in order that to share these natural resources, they has put up a number of gas pipelines between those countries and to regulate the commerce of this gas.
Et la dernière agence qui a été mise en place, c'est le Centre des énergies renouvelables et de l'efficacité énergétique à Praia. Ici, je voudrais très sincèrement remercier l'Agence du développement de l'Autriche, le gouvernement de l'Autriche, qui ont été les pères fondateurs de cette agence d'ECRE. Et ils sont membres à part entière du conseil d'administration de ECRE. ECRE, c'est pour la promotion des énergies renouvelables et la mise en implémentation des projets d'énergie renouvelable et d'efficacité énergétique.
Last but not least, they have created the fourth regional agency, which is based in Cape Verde, in Praia, which is dedicated exclusively on renewable energy and energy efficiency in order to promote and implement real projects.
Pour faire la promotion de ces ressources énergétiques en énergie renouvelable, les chefs d'État ont adopté la politique régionale des énergies renouvelables et la politique régionale de l'efficacité énergétique. Vous savez ce qui est dur quand vous êtes ensemble, c'est la volonté politique. Et cette volonté politique est affichée par les 15 chefs d'État de la CEDEAO.
So what has been difficult it is to get a common position within these 15 countries on renewable energy so they can act together and promote, I would say, this all access to renewable energy.
Qu'est-ce que la CEDEAO encore a fait pour la libération du commerce de l'énergie? Elle a adopté le tarif extérieur commun, c'est-à-dire elle a homogénéisé les taxes douanières au niveau des frontières de la CEDEAO. Elle a adopté la libre circulation des personnes, des biens et des capitaux. C'est-à-dire, quand vous avez des capitaux, vous pouvez vous installer dans n'importe quel État de l'Afrique de l'Ouest pour pouvoir investir dans le développement durable. Troisièmement, la libéralisation du commerce et quatrièmement, la bonne gouvernance.
Okay, 4 items that the head of states have convened together in order to promote renewable energy, to have a single, I would say, commerce tariff on electricity, on commerce of electricity within the borders of ECOWAS, to have, second, I don't remember, I mean, there have been 4 different policies that have been set up, including the possibilities of people from one country to another to go to other countries and to invest in those countries.
Vous savez, la CEDEAO a 40 ans. On peut beaucoup parler. Qu'est-ce que nous avons mis en place pour accompagner? Sur ce, je vais m'arrêter ici et on va continuer la discussion.
So the discussion will continue later on.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Mr. Bangura. And thank you very much, Mr. Nuttall. You were a great translator of sort of a great speech of Mr. Bangura. Mr. Nuttall, now I'm addressing you as the CEO of R20 Regions of Climate Action. You've built up a strong global network of sustainable leaders. You also have vast experience with innovative partnerships, especially with local and regional authorities, to create low carbon and climate resilient infrastructure projects. What are the main success factors for fruitful partnership or cooperation?
Thank you. So in terms of successes, I think we are an alliance of different partners, including, of course, subnational authorities, but also technical expertise from private companies, but more important as well, a relation with development banks, with private equities. The whole issue is that we live in a kind of a world situation where there is a political willing, no doubt. There is the right technologies, no doubt. There is a lot of finance, no doubt. But the action of being undertaken at local level to have, I would say, a green infrastructure is not that easy. So what have we done? We have done a value chain based on proof of concept in Mali with a 50 megawatt solar project, in Algeria with zero waste management project, and in Brazil with LED street lighting within certain municipalities. The whole issue is to have a kind of a four-step going along, which is not working in silos, but it is one consequent to the other, working all together. So first step it is to have a good way of identifying the project with subnational authorities so that they respond to their citizens. The second way, you have those projects being put in a common framework, in a common standard way of reporting this project. This is what we are doing with the Sustainable Infrastructure Foundation, which has been created by the development banks in order to have the infrastructure project reported in the same standard way, agreeable to the development bank. Then we are looking for the expertise to develop feasibility studies for those projects to become bankable according to the request of the development banks. And bankable is not only the only issue for us, it must have social impact, so meet the SDGs. It must meet also the environmental impact, so the Paris Agreement. And when this is all set, then we can go with the development banks, with the private equities, with the family offices and others to see how they can inject their investment in those projects. So this is what we do. We are right now building with Blue Orchard. It is an impact investment manager, which is helping us to develop a dedicated investment fund for subnational authorities to implement those projects. So we do master the whole value chain of those different projects, and this is what is missing right now in the international community. You can have very good portfolio of projects, but you don't find the good technology to implement them. You can have very good technology and policy working together, but you don't find the right finance to invest in. So we are making this facilitating process.
Very good. One part of your global value chain are strong technological partners. And one representative of a very close technology partner is in the audience. May I ask Mrs. Barbara Chrysler from Philips Lighting to come onto the stage and tell us a bit about what kind of projects you developed out of this partnership. Please, Mrs. Chrysler.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. It is really a pleasure to be here back in Vienna. I have to say Vienna is my hometown, despite the fact that I now live in the Netherlands and work for Philips Lighting. I would like to just briefly touch upon some of the key parameters that we are talking about here today, and some of them have already been mentioned. We will face another 2 billion people that will be added to the planet by 2050. 70% of us will live in cities by 2050. And we will have another 3 billion people that will actually enter the middle class in the next 2 decades. So what does that mean in terms of keeping climate change and the global warming to 1.5 degrees centigrade? I actually think the answer is pretty straightforward. And it's something that has been mentioned here today, but I have a feeling not strongly enough, because we've been talking mostly about renewable energies. And renewable energies is very important. It is a very important part of the solution, but it's not the only one. I think the cheapest energy, ladies and gentlemen, is the energy that we don't consume. And this is where energy efficiency becomes so crucial. Currently, we achieve energy efficiency improvements of 1.5% per year. However, global energy demand raises by 3% per year. This means we need to double the rate of energy efficiency improvements from currently 1.5 to 3% if we want to get even close to achieving the Paris climate goals to decarbonize our planet in the next decades to come. And how do we do that? Well, first of all, we need to accelerate the rate of renovation of existing infrastructure. And second, that's mostly in developed countries. And secondly, we need to leapfrog to new clean technologies where infrastructure does not yet exist. And this is why I'm also very much sharing my sister Abby's great drive in terms of your programs, particularly in Africa. And I also would very much like to reiterate my support in to drive this further. The good news, ladies and gentlemen, is that the technologies already exist. And I think this is very positive to note. They don't need to be invented. They're already there. And look at lighting, for example, if I may, since I represent the largest lighting company in the world. In lighting, we are actually witnessing right now the biggest revolutions since the invention of the incandescent light bulb. With the invention of LED lighting, we can suddenly now achieve energy savings of more than 50%. I don't think there's any other industry that can actually show these kind of significant improvements. And if you connect LEDs to the internet and make it into smart lighting, you can achieve energy savings of up to 80%. In Los Angeles, for instance, just to give one example, they have transformed 165,000 street lights into LEDs. In 2015, they were able to reduce their energy consumptions by 63%. And they saved $9 million per year. So imagine what a city can do with all this money they are saving by introducing energy efficient street lighting. But of course, we cannot do this alone. We have to work in partnership, and partnership already today has been mentioned as one of the key success factors to accelerate the action. R20 is one of the strategic partners, and I really have to applaud Christophe Nuttall and his team for this very innovative approach that he has been describing with the pre-investment facilities. And we are joining hands with R20 on the pre-investment facilities for LED lighting. And why do we think this is innovative? Well, I can tell you, because we are talking to a lot of cities around the world. And we hear over and over again that cities say, oh, we have great projects, but we have no money. And then we talk to banks, and banks says, well, we have money, but we have no projects. So there is clearly a missing link, and this is exactly where R20 steps in and provides this hand-holding and support to make good projects bankable, so that investment banks and investment funds are actually interested and feel secure enough to fund these projects. R20 has launched last year a call for proposal. They were hoping to receive 100 projects. In fact, yesterday we learned from Christophe they received over 650 project proposals, and close to 100 of those are in LED. And so we are very excited to start this program together with R20 on the LED pre-investment facility. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Chrysler. Make good projects bankable. You may stay here with us. We would be delighted. Mr. Nuttall, you travel a lot and meet people who are motivated to take action. What do people in developing countries most need to start their own business? Are these the projects or the finances?
So you have to have, I would say, local leaders who understand well the policy aspect, the technology aspect, and the finance aspect. And we have developed, in fact, two, I would say, capacity building programs. The first one, it is with the infrastructure Sustainable Infrastructure Foundation for local authorities to use this IT platform to put their project in a proper format for the development bank's requirements. So this is a training program that we have started on the source. And the second program that we have started to work, it is to develop a master degree. So we have started in Algeria with the government of Algeria to take local authorities, so technicians, which are, I would say, of high school +4, so master degree, and we give them an additional year in order to know better what are the best green policies, the best green technologies, and the best green finance. And instead of making, I would say, at the end of their academia curricula a thesis, they do work on a specific project within their municipalities to see how they can apply what they have learned so that the project at the end is bankable. So we are working on those two aspects, so short-term training and longer-term training.
Thank you very much, Mr. Nuttall. Now I turn over to Mr. Kleinschmidt. You're also a very international busy networker. You are a humanitarian and refugee expert. You're also in business. I will come to that shortly. But you have over 25 years of experience in a wide range of countries and tragically emergencies. You managed the largest refugee camps for Syrian refugees of 100,000 people on site. But on the other hand, and moreover, you are the founder and chairman of the Startup Innovation and Planning Agency. What kind of sustainable solutions can you provide with this agency?
Well, thank you very much. First of all, I think, and it hasn't been said here, today is World Refugee Day. And I think it's important because 65 million people are on the move. 65 million people are on the move because of conflict, largely driven by inequalities, by the fact that people moved into the cities because they couldn't survive in the countryside. Syria is one of those examples where 800,000 people moved into the cities shortly before the conflict started. Of course, hundreds of other millions are at risk and also in the move because of drought and other situations. Now, that is the bad news. The good news is wherever you go, people ask, when can I have access to what the world actually can do? What we already possess, what we have invented. They know about environmental technologies. They know about renewable energies. They know about the fact that, in fact, we can draw water out of air today. We can recycle waste. So they're asking, why not me? And I think here we're coming to the interface, the critical issue of the interface. We met a couple of weeks ago in Accra at the Development Finance Forum organized by the World Bank Group. So here's the World Bank Group availing $75 billion for the IDA countries, the development assistance countries in the world. Incredible powers of money, of finance. And what do we discover in the discussions? And we were there together with Her Highness. We discover we don't have, in fact, the interface between the relatives in the village who are breaking their hips because there's no light in the hut. With those Bedouins I visited a couple of weeks ago in northern Jordan, 3 weeks ago in northern Iraq, where people said, we want to have energy-saving building technologies. We would like to cooperate, but we can't get hold of anybody who wants to work with the University of Duhok, for instance. So we're talking about building up the necessary interfaces, the partnerships to make that happen and to break it down and to bring those solutions we have already invented into the last little hut out there. Maybe one of the examples we discussed this also in Accra extensively. I mean, we're talking about migration, the fear of hundreds of millions of people coming to Europe and so on. I mean, that's sort of the ghost certain politicians want to draw on the walls here. But have we really done anything to bring those solutions into those villages in Niger, in Mali, in Burkina Faso? No, we haven't. there's a couple of social entrepreneurs, a few pioneers out there, they could scale up, and it's not happening. So let us build, and this is exactly what we're discovering, and this is what I'm trying to do with the various ventures we have been launching over the last few months, trying to build up that connectivity between the little people, the 80% of the informal markets you have there, between the people who live out there in the informal settlements, in the cities, in the growing monster cities of Africa, of Asia, of many other places, Latin America. Let's have that connectivity build up. So, and that is also requires, and I'm also looking to Mr. Schall and others, who actually are doing the development work to help in setting up and financing the interfaces. So it is getting into microfinance, into the solutions. Many have found already. Let's scale them up. The solutions are there. It's not reinventing the wheel. It's there already. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Kleinschmidt. Actually, a great statement, and obviously there are missing links, and this is why we have this great conference here, and the support and the initiating initiatives of R20, which is very much necessary, we find out day by day even more. And you yourself, you indicated that the Syrian refugee crisis and maybe crisis in northern African countries and also sub-Saharan countries are not the only reason. I mean, not the only political reasons, but maybe it could be the reason of climate change, that people want to move, want to migrate. What can you tell us about these different kind of reasons?
I will recall a situation back in 2010. I was the Deputy Special Envoy in Pakistan for the United Nations. And suddenly, monsoon rains stronger than ever. 20 million people affected in one rain, basically. 10 million people in need of humanitarian aid. And who were these people? They were, again, the poorest. They were the ones who were flushed out of their little villages, their little unsustainable huts. So one of the points, and I think it's very important to look at it more holistically, it's about urbanization, it's about resilient housing, it's about giving people access to the various options we have. Poor people sleep badly, live badly, eat badly, have no safe water, and have no light in their toilet and in their house for learning. So how do we scale that up is again my plea here, and we have the financial solutions as well. We have the technical solutions. So again, my plea is let's simply get to the deal making now. Rather than sitting in conferences and talk about it, which is a trend these days.
Thank you. Of course. By the way, one of the deal makers is the Austrian Development Agency, and we have here the representative, Mr. Gunther Schall. You are heading the unit Private Sector and Development of this agency, which is the operational unit of the Austrian Development Corporation. The ADA plans, finances, and supports development programs and projects in the countries of Asia, Southeastern Europe, but also especially in Africa and the Caribbean. What are the success indicators for concrete best practice projects, Mr. Schall?
Yeah, I would also like to refer to the fact that many people in rural Africa are still lacking access to energy, and it's mostly the poor, as it has already been mentioned, and mainly women that lack the access of energy, meaning that the women are spending hours for collecting firewood, or maybe a little bit more in our times, they spend hours for walking to the next village for charging their cell phones because they don't have an own access to energy. So what can we do? And it's not only about financing megawatt projects to help the poor people. It could be also small solutions. And we are working together with an innovative Austrian company called Sunnyback and local partners in Burkina Faso to develop a market for solar panels. But it's not the aim of the project to sell these panels and to export the product. The idea is providing a local business model to develop a local market for it. So the idea is that the company develops a business model that serves for the needs of the poor. And in a test phase, we have adapted the technology to the needs of the users. So we have put better batteries in, they wished for an LED lamp, lots of ideas that came from the field, and this is very important that you listen to the people in the field, not just sell something, listen to the people, what they need, listen to the poor, bring them into the project, because they have specific needs. They are not just poor, they have specific needs. But on the other hand, we also adapted the business model to make it functionable. The idea was that there were reasonable prices for charging a cell phone. So somebody buys this solar panel and offers charging services to the poor people in the village. And this is a business model for some people in the village. And now the next challenge is coming. We are trying to scale the business and involving more and more people, on the one hand in the business model, but on the other hand in the use of the business model. And for this reason, we are strengthening the different support functions of the market and involve other partners of the market, financing institutions, that they help us to develop this market. So piloting, scaling, and developing new business models is key for our projects.
Thank you, Mr. Schall. And what would be the main barriers you see that hinder especially Austrian or maybe European private sector to engage more in these countries?
I want to be very provocative. I think the main barriers are in the heads of the Austrian businessmen and women, because they are very much focused on their home markets. Maybe they do a good business here, that's great. They are focused on their margins and returns on investment. And not maybe yet ready to invest in new markets, invest in product adaptations and knowledge about their customers. But it's not the challenge of the markets there. The Austrian market is challenging as well. Have you already tried to enter the Austrian market? And most companies come along with a product, but not with a solution that solves the problem and that pays off as well. And then project planning is not only a technical issue. Project planning needs also social skills, because in the planning of the project, you need to understand the people you will work with.
Thank you, Mr. Schall. As Her Royal Highness and Mr. Bangura traveled the longest way down from Africa, Western Africa to Austria to this so excellent conference, I would like to ask Mr. Bangura and Her Royal Highness to give us your main message concerning this topic.
Le petit message que je vais lancer, c'est pour vous dire qu'il faut avoir confiance en notre continent africain. Avoir confiance parce que la volonté politique s'est affirmée pour que cette disparité énergétique qui existe sur le continent puisse être extirpée. Que le peuple qui aspire au bonheur puisse l'avoir, qu'on puisse exploiter d'une façon optimale nos ressources énergétiques pour le bien-être de la population. l'Autriche est devenue la capitale des énergies renouvelables, puisque chaque année, nous faisons des grands forums dans cet auditorium. Et que cette possibilité qui est offerte à l'Afrique puisse permettre pour qu'on puisse, comme les objectifs de Sea for All, avoir 100% d'utilisation des services énergétiques en 2030. Merci. Merci de nous avoir reçus et nous écouter sur les possibilités au niveau de la CEDEAO.
The message that I want to convey it is please trust Africa. Believe in Africa. Trust the politicians, the willingness of the politicians in order to achieve the wellness of our population. We want them to be happy. We want them to have access to energy. So please trust us in order to make it happen so that the UNSC for All objective will be reached. And here in Vienna, we believe it is the capital of renewable energy because of UNSC for All Secretariat. We have come many times here, so please trust us to make it happen and we will work together.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you for that, my fellow panelists. I will be straightforward. I want that we set targets. I have set the targets for myself. It's electrify 2.5 million households per country in Africa. Let's make the deal for the 16 countries of ECOWAS. This is A. 5,000 training of trainers per country. Okay, let's make the deal. Because, and also create jobs for our youth, the boys and the girls who are in the countryside, to be comfortable in their zone, because nobody wants to leave his house. Nobody wants to. When people ask us whether the place that you like most, it's not the hotel where you are or the airplanes, but it's home. Let's make home comfortable. For me, is creating decent jobs, and that is possible. Renewable energy is the opportunity for me as really the green, inclusive green growth business. That's where we are going to nowadays. And I totally agree with you. The cheapest energy is the one we don't use, and energy efficiency is key. I'm the ambassador for renewable energy and energy efficiency of my country, and I know what it is. And also bringing energy, just a simple comparison. Life of women changes in OECD countries in Europe the moment we bring energy into homes. Before that, yes. We are not different. We're getting baby delivery in the same way. We are cooking in the same way. Technology don't have sex, don't have color, don't have borders. Let's work. The title of this conference is Action. And I really wanted, after here, whatever you signed, the initiative Mama Lights for Sustainable Energy, if you don't bring it here, because we already have local initiatives proven who works. You don't need to start from scratch, coming from the community themselves who want to make the difference and partner with you. That's the only thing who counts. And I'm sure that you in the room, when you go out there, convince 100 people to do it. So we are all convinced here. We don't need to convince ourselves. It's the outside. And thanks to the media who's broadcasting it, and many thanks for Austria, for all Austrian people, because it's about people, people issue. Thank you so much again for welcoming us.
Finally, I would like to highlight the role of business again. But first of all, let's believe in Africa. Yeah, that's true that Austrian companies have not tapped the potential in our and with our neighboring continent. I think this is crucial for the years to come, because one of the main messages for me is link climate to growth. And renewables, energy efficiency, all the technologies, innovative technologies can help and contribute to growth, especially also in Africa, but of course in all the other regions in the world. Environmental protection, clean energy, energy efficiency, the optimal use of natural resources are vital and growing markets. And by the way, the Austrian environmental technology industry is one of the world's most innovative industry. So they have a very good reputation, not so strong in Africa, but in many other countries. So it is really export intensive and grows rapidly. Actually, the green technology industry in Austria grows much faster than the average of Austrian economy, and I'm sure this is true for many other countries, especially the Scandinavian countries, and maybe, of course, in, for example, in California. Energy and sustainability will become main drivers of the economy, and green business is profitable, and green business is the future. And I believe in the initiatives of the businesses. I think they can be really a change factor and a driving force, and governments have to offer favorable conditions for all these new necessities. I think altogether we have a bright future with this sort of initiatives. So to conclude, I would like to thank all panelists for their interventions. Today we heard about many examples of best practices and were given a lot of positive motivation for the future. Yet there's a lot to be done, of course, but even small projects have a big impact. We have to think globally, but act locally and regionally. Referring to Arne Schwarzenegger, I can only ask all of us, let's turn our ideas and plans into action. Thank you very much.